On the ancient plains of Mesopotamia, thousands of years before the first telescope was invented, the Sumerians carved the sky into stone. They depicted gods who came from the stars, and one name kept appearing again and again: Nibiru. According to the controversial researcher Zecharia Sitchin, Nibiru is not just a myth. He referred to it as the 12th planet, a celestial body that orbits the sun in an extremely elliptical path and only comes near Earth once every 3,600 years. The Sumerians believed that beings from Nibiru, known as the Anunnaki, descended to Earth and created humans. They were not gods, they were aliens. However, even though this story comes from ancient times, the name Nibiru has never truly disappeared. In modern times, it has resurfaced in scientific discourse and conspiracy theories. Nibiru is now known as Planet X. Some believe that this planet is the cause of disturbances in Earth's magnetic field, potentially increasing earthquakes, extreme weather, and even changes in human behavior. In the world of modern astronomy, the term Planet X is not merely a myth or an ancient tale. It was first introduced by Percival Lowell, an American astronomer in the early 20th century who believed that there was a large planet hidden at the edge of the solar system. Lowell suspected that the strange movements of Uranus and Neptune could only be explained if there was another large celestial body influencing their gravitational pull, an invisible planet that he called Planet X. The search for this mysterious planet continued even after the discovery of Pluto in 1930. However, Pluto's mass was far too small to account for the observed anomalies. Since then, scientists began to realize that there might be something even bigger, much bigger, that has yet to be seen. Entering the 21st century, scientific focus shifted to a region known as the Kuiper Belt, a vast area filled with icy objects beyond Neptune's orbit. It was here that astronomers discovered something strange. The orbits of several objects there appeared to be influenced by a large unseen mass. In 2016, two scientists from Caltech, Konstantin Batygin and Mike Brown, officially announced their hypothesis about the existence of a ninth planet, or Planet 9. A large planet with a mass 5 to 10 times greater than Earth, orbiting the Sun in a highly elliptical path, and taking up to 20,000 years to complete a single revolution. This hypothesis is purely based on the orbital patterns of small objects in the Kuiper Belt, which appear to be grouped in a non-random way. This phenomenon would be almost impossible without the strong gravitational pull of another large object nearby. For the scientific community, this is considered serious indirect evidence, and it brought the term Planet X back into the conversation, but this time wrapped in more academic language. However, on the other hand, conspiracy theorists see this discovery as proof that the truth about Nibiru is starting to leak to the public. They believe that what is being called Planet 9 is actually Nibiru itself, a planet that has long been predicted to return close to Earth and bring about a great catastrophe. The difference is, scientists call it a scientific discovery, while conspiracy theorists call it a hidden revelation. The main difference between the scientific and conspiratorial approaches lies in their methods and intentions. Scientists work based on data observation and statistical analysis. They have never directly observed Planet 9, and they acknowledge that. What they have are gravitational anomalies and predictive models. Meanwhile, conspiracy theories often piece together information from various sources, including mythology, leaked documents, and extreme world events to form a grand narrative that Planet X, also known as Nibiru, has been known for a long time and is deliberately hidden by global governments, especially NASA. This is where the tension arises between science and collective fear. Is it true that governments and space agencies have seen Planet X but are hiding it out of fear of causing mass panic? Did space telescopes like IRAS, Hubble, and WISE accidentally capture its image and then keep it secret? Since 2003, the name Nibiru has been associated with apocalyptic prophecies claiming that this planet will pass by Earth, triggering a series of global disasters that would end life as we know it. But why is Nibiru so closely linked to doomsday predictions? And is there any evidence to support these claims? Or is it all just exaggerated speculation? One of the peak moments in the fame of the Nibiru theory occurred in 2012. December 21, 2012, which some circles predicted would be the end of the world, shook the world with projections that Nibiru would collide with Earth. The Mayan calendar, which ended on that date, became one of the main triggers for this theory. Many believed that the Mayans had predicted the coming of a great disaster that would be caused by the arrival of Nibiru. But is there really any scientific basis behind this claim? Or is this merely a product of the imagination of conspiracy theories? Some of those who believe in this theory claim that Nibiru, which is on a very long elliptical orbit, passes by Earth every few thousand years, bringing with it catastrophic natural disasters. These disasters are said to include massive earthquakes, tsunamis, solar storms, and even pole shifts that could change the entire ecosystem of the Earth. One of the main proponents of this theory is Nancy Lieder, founder of the Zeta Talk website, who began publishing predictions about the Nibiru apocalypse in the late 1990s. LiDAR claims that he communicates with extraterrestrial beings from the Zeta Reticuli star system who warned that Nibiru will destroy the Earth in the near future. With the advanced alien technology that is believed to be able to track Nibiru's movements, many people have become shaken by this claim. However, is all of this just part of speculation intended to frighten the world? Many scientists and astronomers still consider these theories to be a major hoax, a baseless form of fear that takes advantage of the public's doubts about information that cannot be explained. In 2012, when the world did not end as predicted, most followers of this theory began searching for new reasons to explain the failure of the prophecy. Some argue that Nibiru's arrival has been delayed and that the planet will only arrive in the next few years. For them, this theory is not just a prophecy, but a truth that is being hidden by governments and scientific institutions. NASA, the American Space Agency regarded as the leading authority in space research, has repeatedly denied the existence of Planet X or Nibiru. They state that there is no evidence supporting the existence of this planet and that phenomena associated with Nibiru, such as pole shifts or global natural disasters, are the result of misinformation and conspiracy theories. However, even though this official explanation sounds convincing, there are still many people who doubt NASA's honesty. How is it possible that an agency with the most advanced technology in the world, including space telescopes and observation satellites, would be unable to detect such a massive celestial object if it really existed? If Nibiru exists and is approaching Earth, why isn't there a single image or data set that shows its presence? Some conspiracy theorists believe that NASA actually knows more about Nibiru than they reveal to the public. One reason they believe this is because of NASA's often limited transparency when it comes to more controversial discoveries. NASA has repeatedly responded to the Nibiru theory with simple explanations. There is no planet that will approach Earth. But is this explanation sufficient? Or is there a hidden agenda behind the policy to quell public fear? In 1983, a significant moment occurred in the search for Planet X. NASA's IRAS, the infrared astronomical satellite, launched observations of an unknown object at the edge of the solar system. Initial reports indicated that there was a strong possibility a large hidden planet beyond Neptune's orbit could be found. In the following years, although some researchers tried to dig deeper into this discovery, NASA never disclosed further details to the public. Many theories emerged suggesting that NASA chose not to inform the world about their findings for reasons that remain unclear. This theory is further reinforced by NASA's secretive attitude toward major projects related to space observation. Although they claim that such discoveries have not yet been confirmed, some conspiracy theorists argue that NASA is simply hiding the data to prevent mass panic. If Nibiru is indeed approaching, would there be a global risk that could destroy human life? Of course, a global disaster of that scale would threaten the world's social, economic, and political stability. That's why many believe that hiding this information is a wiser move to prevent fear and chaos. However, this theory is not based solely on NASA's denial. There are also claims that space agencies are involved in efforts to cover up the discovery of a large celestial object approaching. In fact, some conspiracy theories go even further, suggesting that high-ranking NASA officials are working together with global governments to hide the truth. Followers of this theory believe that the world's rulers, both the United States government and other major countries, will use any means necessary to control information related to this major threat. One example that is often mentioned is an internal NASA video that leaked in 2009 which shows unusual footage from sky observations. In the video, a large celestial object can be seen moving rapidly, but the footage is suddenly cut and further discussion is halted. This incident strengthens the theory that there is an effort to control the flow of information that could potentially cause global panic. Is this just a coincidence, or is there really something being hidden? One of the facts that adds to the public's skepticism toward NASA is the diversion of attention to other issues. When major events occur, such as concerning solar storms or large earthquakes, there is often no further discussion about Nibiru or the planets associated with it. On the contrary, these news stories often fade away quickly, as if they are deliberately ignored or suppressed by major media outlets working in cooperation with the government. And even though NASA repeatedly issues reassuring statements and claims that there is nothing to worry about, the fact that there is no clear information available only increases the public's distrust of the space agency. In this era of highly open information technology, with millions of observers around the world, it's hard to believe that something this significant could simply be hidden without leaving a trace. Of course, we cannot ignore the fact that the majority of people around the world do not have direct access to in-depth information about outer space. In other words, we rely on institutions like NASA to provide honest explanations. However, when they turn a blind eye to major clues in the sky, it's only natural for suspicion to arise. Is there something being hidden from us? Imagine this, the night sky suddenly changes. A reddish light appears in the distance, slowly growing larger and increasingly dominating the horizon. Scientists all over the world panic. Governments hold emergency meetings. The media becomes restless, then gradually falls silent. And humanity gazes up at the sky, realizing that something is coming. This is the scenario believed by some followers of the Nibiru theory, that if the mysterious planet truly exists, its arrival would drastically change the world. First, we need to understand that Nibiru is described as a massive object, larger than Earth, with a strong gravitational field. If it truly approaches Earth at a close enough distance, Nibiru's gravity could disrupt the stability of the orbits of other planets, including Earth itself. This could cause a sudden shift in the magnetic poles, changes in Earth's rotation, and even trigger extreme geological activity, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and devastating tsunamis. Aside from natural disasters, disturbances in the magnetic field could also cause massive damage to the global power grid. Satellites could fail, communications could be lost, and navigation systems could be crippled. Within hours, the world could shift from a modern digital society into chaos reminiscent of the Middle Ages. But physical disasters are only the surface of a deeper catastrophe, social collapse. When news of Nibiru's arrival becomes undeniable, society will panic. Stores will be raided, food supplies will run out, governments may declare martial law. The internet will be flooded with rumors and fear. Public trust will collapse. Mass panic could be deadlier than the planet itself. Some scenarios even predict that the impact will not only be local but global. Oceans could rise due to the shifting of Earth's mass, causing land to submerge. Islands could disappear. Coastal cities like New York, Jakarta, Tokyo, and Mumbai could be submerged within days. It's even possible that if Nibiru's orbit is close enough, Earth's atmosphere will be disrupted, causing extreme and irreversible climate changes. Some theories are even darker. They suggest that Nibiru is not just an empty planet. Some believe it is inhabited by an ancient alien race, the Anunnaki, who will return to claim the Earth. This is a blend of Sumerian mythology and modern theories, imagining the arrival of Nibiru as the return of the gods who once created humanity. Will this be the end of times or the beginning of a conquest? However, even if Nibiru does not collide directly with Earth, some alternative scientists argue that just passing nearby would be enough to trigger chaos. Because Nibiru is believed to have an enormous mass, its gravitational pull would cause orbital imbalances, possibly altering the length of days, seasons, and weather cycles forever. This could mean failed agriculture, prolonged food crises, mass migration, and the collapse of global civilization. Amidst the looming threat, a question arises: is there any safe place? Some survivalist groups believe that highland areas such as the Himalayas, the Andes, or the remote regions of Siberia might become safe zones. Underground bunkers are being secretly built by wealthy individuals and secret groups, a silent race for self-preservation. However, one bitter reality still lurks. If Nibiru truly exists, and if it really is heading our way, then time is almost up. Maybe the government knows, maybe it doesn't. Maybe there are already secret plans in place. Or maybe there is nothing we can do. And in the deepening silence of the night, all we can do is look up at the sky, waiting for a truth that may never come, or perhaps is already too close.